Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Keikaku Corner. This, by the way, Tristan. By the way, I'm Matt Marrero. Over here is Tristan Walter, who... Say hi, everybody. Say hi to everybody, Tristan.
Hi, everybody.
So, there's two things going on right now. As you can tell, there's a... I don't know what picture I've chosen of Tristan Walter, but it's hilarious. Unless we're talking about something sad in the future, in which case it won't be hilarious. But the video podcast, the video portion of this had to go on, as planned. But what ended up happening is Tristan's having some more computer troubles, like I was having. So we're all doing great here. Again, we've talked about how our motto is: if something's gonna go wrong, it's gonna happen. It's just gonna. Murphy's law is always in full effect. That's the one law that always is followed, no matter what is going down with us. So another thing too is there's a cat sleeping by you, which normally we have that wonderful cat Patchy on camera, but again. We can't get video coverage of Tristan. So all of you, if you hear a purring, that isn't like a humming of a car or anything like that. That's a little cute kitty that has decided to kind of just nestle onto your entire body of flesh. No, seriously, I feel like no matter what happens, like you'll blink and she'll just be on your eyelids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So. This, by the way, everybody, is the second to last episode of Keikaku Corner for this season. We're nearing the end of the year, right? How crazy is it that time goes by this quickly? Because we're nearing towards the end of the year, and that's usually when we reset for another season. We have some interesting things planned for Season 3. We're going to test them out in the gap. But if you're wondering what will be on the channel instead of Keikaku Corner, if there's the occasional news topic, I'll try to maybe talk about it in some way or another in audio format, but most likely we'll be getting older those guys on the radio content that still hasn't made it to the channel that we've done throughout the years, because we usually do podcast reviews, Tristan and I, or a bunch of other people on the channel, so those will probably be released on the channel during the little tiny break. And maybe some other stuff from other channels that we'll focus on here as well. Anyway, so Tristan, the most important news: how was your Thanksgiving? How was that? Was it a good Thanksgiving?
Goku was in the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
That's how your Thanksgiving went. I mean, that was mine too. Like, I could have went to sleep, but I actually stayed up during the day. I was like, I'm going to stay awake. I'm going to drink some coquito. It will keep me awake and not sober. And I will watch Goku in the Thanksgiving Day Parade. And did you hear about what happened with the wind?
I heard they might have difficulties with the wind.
The wind, yeah, every float was having difficulty with the wind, but that one in particular, Goku was almost taken down, so like his float kind of tilted, and then he jolted right back up into position, and I was like, that's my man Goku.
Can't keep a sand down.
Nope, that's what he does. That's what he does.
He's trained in 10 times gravity. Wind is nothing.
Also,
even in balloon form.
Yeah, and the handlers, I'm pretty sure they had coats that looked like Goku's gi. So that was nice as well.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I don't know.
Super Saiyan God, Super Balloon.
Yeah, I don't know what kanji was on it. I don't know if it was like Infinite or Roshi. I don't know if there was kanji, but I know that the color scheme and the design was set up to look like his gi. So that was nice as well.
Nice.
I mean, what also another thing too is having Al Roker pronounce Saiyan right, but have the internet have to tell him that he was wrong, which is hilarious. Because if you guys don't know, he pronounced it as Saiyan, which isn't the way that Funimation does it, but is technically the quote-unquote accurate way when the Japanese version pronounces it as Super Saiyajin.
Right.
Or just Saiyajin. So, which does become... the gene part does become in the same way that, like, Chikyu-jin would be like an earthling, because Chikyu means earth. So the gene part is usually the alien suffix to kind of connotate that, hey, this is an actual, like, an Ian or a Ling or whatever the end of it would be, like a Kryptonian or something like that.
Yeah, gene is usually, like, being of some part.
Yeah. So technically, if the dub was in the same way that the dub did, like, Kaioken instead of Kaioken, it's little things like that, which it's not going to kill us. This isn't like, well, listen here, okay? Like, no, like, I've said Saiyan my entire life. I mean, it's even, everyone jokingly says, I put it into memes at this point, like, oh, just Saiyan, etc., stuff like that. But it's just funny how even some of my friends online who really did enjoy Dragon Ball Z back in the day, or at least have heard about it, were like, Al Roker pronounced it wrong. And then another half of my friends were like, actually, demo. And it was like, no, don't get into arguments. I mean, but isn't it odd though, like Al Roker getting it wrong correctly? Like, is Al Roker a secret weeaboo?
Oh my god.
Like, is he secretly like, I've been waiting for this for years, Saiyajin? Like,
Oh my god.
I don't know. But that is interesting, though.
That day that Al Roker reminded the world of his power level.
On that faithful day. No, what's interesting, though, about that, just briefly before we move on, because as you guys, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, then you know that we're going to talk about the new Super Broly trailers and that whole debacle. But before we do, speaking of Al Roker, though, the way he pronounced the movie title was funny, because this is how either he was trying to throw people off the scent, like, I don't watch this stuff, look, I said the wrong inflection in the name of the movie, because Tristan, instead of him saying the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, he said the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie.
Right.
Because understandably, like, I see where he's coming from. Like, oh, it's the Dragon Ball franchise, so Broly is super, like the Super Saiyans. And it's like, no, Al. They named it Dragon Ball Super. That's the show. And the movie is based off the show. Like, having to explain that to him is just be like, oh, so I said it wrong. Yeah, but, like, it makes you make sense. Like, no, because he is Super Broly. So it's like, no, you... Damn it, Roker, you did good, I think. Oh my god. No, but, so either way, though, that was fun. I know you saw video clips of it after, but I really tried to stay awake, just to give them that ratings bump. I know my family would have watched it irregardless, but still, I wanted to see it in person, because I didn't know when it would be up online. Because, I mean, other than like a little clip from like Funimation's Twitter or something, I didn't know when it would be up online. So I wanted to try to check it out in the moment, and it was beautiful. Also, Pikachu was there as always. I mean, he's Pikachu. What are you gonna do there? Like, it's the Pika.
We're slowly inserting ourselves into the mainstream.
I mean, Pikachu. Well, that's the funny thing. Pikachu and the Red Ranger, the original Mighty Morphin, they've always been there.
Right.
But
Right.
Dragon Ball, though, that one's interesting because that was such a cultural phenomenon even at the time. But I think because it was so punchy and quote-unquote violent for the youths, even compared to like Pokemon, where Pokemon, yes, people were saying it was violent and satanic and anti-Semitic and all this stuff, where you were like, dude, it's cockfighting if you want to go there, but like, it's not, but it's not satanic or anti-Semitic.
Right.
But still, at the same time, though, that one, like, pierced through, I guess because they were cute little monsters and stuff like that, and animals.
Yeah.
But when it came to Dragon Ball Z, this matters a lot. Like, it's really cool how, it finally got afloat. Despite the fact that it's still been huge. It's not like it hasn't been huge for the last 20 years. Like, the only time it was ever, I would argue, underground, quote-unquote, is, like, during Kai. When, like, it was on TV, don't get me wrong, but, like, I don't think people watched it potentially as much as they watched it when it first came out. I'm just assuming. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But either way, speaking of social media and potential blunders, we're going to talk about the Dragon Ball Super Broly trailers, 4 and 5, the two newest trailers. Now, I would like to say, if you don't want to be spoiled, if you don't want to be spoiled,
Run now.
Run now.
Run as far as you can.
Exactly. Okay? Just and by the way, if you're watching this video on YouTube, there will never be a safe moment after this. Just leave. I think...
also run away. Run away from social media.
I feel like I'm talking to Frieza right now, where it's just like, I'm giving you a chance! So... But if you're listening to the audio version, if you're listening to the audio version of this, the safest bet would be to go 20 to 30 minutes in the future. I'm sure we'll have an exact timestamp down below, but as we're doing this live, 20 to 30 minutes in the future. And we should be off of this topic and onto something that is actually better. It's a fun trailer discussion we'll be having later. But yeah, so we're jumping into this topic right now. So I didn't want to spoil this at first, Tristan. When I first heard about this, I was like, you know what? We're going to talk about it without actual spoilers. We're not going to discuss this because, you know what? Maybe there's someone who hasn't seen this. But like a zombie virus, capitalism wants to make sure that everybody sees this. And now I would like to note, I'm a fan of capitalism. It's corporatism that I get a little wonky on. But with capitalism, I'm actually a fan because if I hated capitalism so much, it would be odd for me to be here right now doing what we do, having t-shirts for sale, things like that. If I'm just like, damn this capitalist system, which is on our shirt, like, you know what I'm saying? It would be weird. Which I put on a poster for 1995. So,
buy the shirt, damn this capitalist.
yes, right? So, but still, corporatism and the way capitalism has kind of gone hand in hand with online spoilers and fandoms really does hurt online fandoms or fandom in general. And here's the thing. So I'm going to say what it was right now. If you guys don't know, now we've already told you it's going to happen. So here it is. So Gogeta is apparently now canon.
And I'm happy as fuck. But I would have been happier as fuck to find that out in the damn theater.
Well, I'm confused, Tristan. So this is going to be in theaters? Because I thought I could watch the AMV that was trailer 4, and I'm good. So I'm confused, Tristan. This is a movie in theaters? Because I don't know anymore. I'm supposed to pay to watch this when I've already gotten enough from 5 trailers that, I'm sorry, Tristan, I told you last time, and I feel like Toei was like, hold my beer, hold my sake. No, because remember last time when we did trailer 3's reaction, and I said, you know, I feel like we potentially have seen all of the movie. And you were like, hey man, that might not be the final attack that Goku and Vegeta do. And to be fair, I was actually okay with Vegeta getting Super Saiyan Red and having that shown, because I don't think that was, yes, it would be a big deal, but it's not going to be the finisher. And that's all I care about.
That was a cool, like, one shot. Because originally it was only just that one shot of it. And I was like, holy shit.
Right.
Like, that's a cool one to tease in a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Yes.
No.
And Broly in his Super Saiyan form is also something that's cool to tease. Like,
because you know that's definitely going to happen. So, like, showing the form, like, that's a cool teaser to have, too. Because, yes, we want Broly. More Broly. When Broly.
Also, not everyone knows who Gine is, so that actually might have been a shock to some people. But like a good shock. Like, it's a better shock to have that someone can research it rather than seeing it in theater and be like, Goku never had a mom. Like, if they see it in the trailer, they're like, wait.
Superman? I mean Superman? Yeah. I mean Goku? I mean...
But you see what I mean, though, right? If someone in the theater is like, Goku never had a mom, like, you know, if they do it now in the trailer, then they Google it.
Never had a mom.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Biologically speaking, he must have.
Right. Right. But they can Google it and be like, oh, Gine, she was, that's interesting, right? They could actually learn about that.
Right.
But this was much different. Now, some people online are trying to be defenders of this, sort of. They're not necessarily defending it, but they're saying, like, hey, man, if you were online, you knew about this from the get-go. And it's like, I disagree wholeheartedly, because there are some people out there, maybe you're thinking this out there, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say down below, don't get me wrong, but you guys have to understand, there are some people that are online, but they're not online. So, Tristan is actually one of those people. So, no, because...
Thank you, Matt.
Let me explain. Tristan, if you wanted to avoid these spoilers, you would have just not watched... Yes, Super and Dragon Ball is in your YouTube algorithm, but you just wouldn't have watched those trailers. You also don't have a Twitter. So you would have missed any Funimation promotion at all. But here's the thing. So I got spoiled because I went on Twitter because I avoided the trailers like the plague. I was going to talk about maybe them here a little bit, but we weren't going to go in depth. We're going to be like, hey, the spoiler seemingly sucks because Masako X actually talked about it. He's worked on Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and he didn't give any spoilers in his video, so bless his heart. But he did that. Yeah. He did that so quickly. It was before the social media campaign came out to screw everything up, because it's a bit different. Toei releasing 2 trailers online, unsubbed in Japanese on their YouTube channels, but that's much different than Funimation tweeting out with a still image of Gogeta saying Gogeta's here, and it's like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, right.
I just want to be able to be spoiled, and now I have to think, not to be able to. I want to be able to be spoiled by fans.
The companies that are putting out the movie.
No. I'm saying I don't want to be spoiled by them, but I want to be spoiled by fans. So what does that mean? I'd understand if the day after this came out in Japanese theaters, people started leaking this. I get it.
Right.
But this isn't even out in Japanese theaters yet. And by the way, Tristan, so I was spoiled that way on Twitter. You're not a man on Twitter. You're on Facebook, but I actually haven't seen this on Facebook, thankfully. Nobody has talked about this.
It wasn't Facebook, it was YouTube, because it's a funny thing, my computer was down at that point, so I haven't been on Facebook. I went onto YouTube, and the first thing I see is Gogeta's face on Bandai Namco's page, and I'm like, and it was hilarious in a really twisted way, because I had just said to you, I'm like, you were asking me, hey, do you want to run this story about the trailers and talk about them? I'm like, well, I haven't actually been spoiled yet. Let's hold off. And you're like, okay, man, that's fair. I literally go onto YouTube after I hang up the phone. I texted you and went, well, we can do the story now, and you just died.
Because that's the second way I got spoiled. Because here's the thing, guys. If you don't know, that Bandai Namco video wasn't just a video. It was set as an ad.
Yeah, right.
So people can't get away from it.
And okay, I guess if you want to be like, oh, well, you should have stayed off social media and stuff if you didn't want to be spoiled, that's bad. Fair, but that's usually like you said, like if it was out in Japan and people were posting about it, like even on Facebook, a lot of groups who like stuff, like when I was, before Last Jedi came out, a lot of Facebook groups that were Star Wars fans were like, hey, look, it's the first week that this movie is out. Please do not post spoilers on our page. We will delete them. But, we want to give everyone at least a chance to see the movie before things get spoiled. And oddly enough, to my surprise, people have been pretty cool with that. I didn't see any spoilers for it, basically.
And here's the thing, too. There's a few things. So some people do consider YouTube a form of social media. In fact, it's actually a great way to get in contact with you guys through our comment sections and things like that. So I do understand where you're coming from if you consider it a part of social media. But at the same time, it also is an entertainment platform. Much more than Facebook, even with Facebook video, and Twitter is. So when you look at YouTube, like, yes, if you saw trailers on TV, you would probably... Here's the thing, you can change the channel.
Right, yeah, and that was the thing. I wasn't even looking for, like, details on Super. I was just going to look for a video to watch something.
For me... Yeah, no, we should make it very clear. All I had to do was open up the YouTube app, and the first thumbnail was Gogeta in home.
Right.
And I didn't have to search up anything. Maybe, the Google, YouTube algorithm, like, it was like, oh, maybe but I don't even think I searched it up on Google. I just found it on Twitter, and I was like, God damn it. And then I went to YouTube, and I was like, double God damn it, blue. And then I was just blue. And I was just... Because the thing is, on television, you can change the channel. You can see the logo and be like, oh, I don't want to see any of these trailers. Click. You can turn off your television, or you can just watch on-demand stuff, which, yes, you can't turn off those ads. So, you could say, hey, you can't, fast-forward through those ads. But still, you can still try to get away from certain ad campaigns if you would like to. Here, and by the way, you might be like, well, then get off YouTube. If you guys don't know, we're on YouTube. So, like, not only do you watch stuff on YouTube, Tristan, but we are on YouTube, so I have to kind of stay on YouTube, not just to have like background stuff going on. And by the way, if one of these trailers were an ad in one of like let's say Masako X's video, if that was an ad on the video, sure it'd be funny in a really bad kind of way, in a cosmic turn of events.
Oh, God.
But here's the thing though. But at least that's an ad that I can turn away from, I can walk away from, I can literally like plug in headphones and or I can take out headphones. Like, I can get away from it if I don't want to, because neither ad had Gogeta, well no, one ad had Gogeta be the first thing. The other ad didn't have Gogeta at all, at the very least. So, my issue, dude, really, my issue is, when it comes to these social media campaigns and things like that, I just long for the day that I can be spoiled by someone being a dick. That's all I want. I want to be able to go back to a time where someone goes, hey, I took a picture of this in theaters, even though in Japanese theaters that would actually be a higher crime than it ever would in a US theater. Like, you would go to jail much quicker than you would in a US theater. But still, someone took a picture. Someone got a screenshot. Someone went to a screening. Like, I long for that day where that happened. Because guess what? I was spoiled for the Han Solo thing in episode 7. But you know what? I was at a part of the internet where people will troll you, and I should have known better. Even though I hated that person for spoiling me, it wasn't like, could you fucking imagine if Disney was like, you know what? They're going to spoil it when it comes out. Let's put it in the trailer.
Right, yeah.
No. Could you imagine if Thanos' finger snap was in the trailer because they thought, well, people are going to spoil it. Heck, let's get people to go into the film. So let's do a finger snap. This is much different than Toei's general kind of lackadaisical attitude when it comes to episode titles, because that's free TV. Yes, in the US, for the longest time, you'd be able to find more anime on DVD or VHS than you would on TV. But still, like, when it comes to Dragon Ball Super, yeah, you can, get an episode title that's like, The Time Hit Kind of Killed Goku, but not really. Watch the episode, it's really cool. Yes, that's the title, right? But still, it's still free TV. Even on Crunchyroll, it's free. Yeah, there's ads, but it's free. I'd rather take that versus trailers that... And again, I could have avoided the trailers. You could have avoided the trailers. And all we would have had was fans being jerks. Like, look at the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate leaks, right? Which we're not going to talk about here. I haven't even looked them up myself, and neither have you, Tristan. But when it comes to those leaks, there have been fans that have been jerks about it, that have been putting the leaks in the thumbnail and the title of the video, not just top 5 leaks, just like the actual, maybe a character or a move or something like that. That's much different than Nintendo being like, well, you know what, now that these leaks are out, let's show even more Smash footage. Granted, you could argue they've shown so much in the directs that it feels like they've leaked the game. And you could say it's too much if you prefer, and that's fine. If you feel like that's too much, I get it. But the difference, too, is that at least with the game, you're taking control of the character, and you can play the game however you like. In the movie, you're only getting this hour-and-a-half narrative that I feel like in these 5 trailers... so much has been spoiled. I mean, we haven't even focused on the 4th trailer that I jokingly said before was an AMV. But Tristan, it's an AMV!
Yeah, it is.
Why are you putting out an AMV that, I gotta be honest, Tristan, I feel like, yes, the Gogeta thing was really bad, but from that 4th trailer, I feel like I truly have seen the entire film.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks because I know you're still really hyped. And I'm not saying that seeing Gogeta in battle, also with the music, especially the music, the song they used for both trailers. I said last time that I enjoyed it, and I actually really do. But at the same time, why would you sit back and think that I, as a consumer, would be more hyped seeing more of a movie? Like, I got fucking bills to pay. There's other movies that exist other than Dragon Ball Super Broly. Why would I want to see a movie after getting so much of it spoiled, especially when, because think about it, dude, with the lowering costs of media, why am I going to pay to see this in theaters when the cost of it in a theater is probably the same amount as it would be on a DVD Blu-ray combo pack.
Yeah.
And I can own it then. And I'm owning it subbed and dubbed. But you go to the theater because you're like, oh my god, I want to see it. I'm so hyped. This is amazing. But then when you get the whole thing telegraphed for you, like some people said that the trailer for episode 7 was like that. Especially some saying that the twist that Han and Chewie were even in it. To some are like, oh wow, that's a twist, you know, like could that have been in the movie itself? But at the very least that serves a narrative of, oh, this matters because it's the thing that ties us to the older franchise. You know, the older part of the franchise. This isn't just the new version of Star Wars. There are also older characters coming back as well. This isn't just Kylo Ren doing his thing and making it seem like that's the only tie. No, Han Solo is in this as well with Chewbacca, as is the Millennium Falcon. To me, that makes sense, narratively. But in this case, there was no reason to show Gogeta. It just didn't make sense. And some people, by the way, Tristan, are saying, but it was already spoiled because, remember we made the joke about, wait a minute, they're showing Bardock, the father of Goku, and they're showing Broly? We made a Gogeta joke a very long time ago.
Right, yeah, about with the Phasm events replaying all the movies, too. So I guess that was kind of a hint as well. But, like, it's still not a trailer coming out and saying, here he is.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think people are so in the know, and it's totally cool if they are, because I love you guys, right? Like, you guys are huge fans just like we are, but you guys want to go even a little bit deeper, right? But I want to be deep into this to the point where I'm like, oh, I know about Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans and Super Saiyans. Like, you know, like I have a VCD of the original Plan to Eradicate the Super Saiyans. Or the Saiyans, it wasn't Super at that point, because Super was on the Raging Blast 2 thing. Like, I'm okay going deep into this, you know? Like, I want to play all of the PS3 Dragon Ball Z games, despite some of their varying qualities, you know? I'm not saying I want to be I don't want to get like the new Dragon Ball Super manga, which we actually will be talking about a little bit later in the podcast. I'm not saying I don't want to get that. But what I am saying is that it is really frustrating that someone tries to justify, even after all of these leaks, or these spoilers rather, someone tries to then justify, but there was a leak in Xenoverse 2 and we saw Gogeta in it. So you should have known that Gogeta would have been in the movie. And it's like, I don't have Xenoverse 2.
I mean, yeah, that's only still a theory at that point, too. Like, there's no definitive evidence to say, oh, he appeared here, so they're definitely going to put him in the movie.
He could just be, he could be in the newest season of Super.
Right, yeah.
You know, he could be in a new manga arc or something like that.
Right, for this, it's like it's giving away the climactic. It's basically giving away the climax. Like, with Star Wars, it's not like you put Luke blowing up the Death Star in the fucking trailer. Granted, that's a much older trailer, but even still, like...
Well, here's the funny thing.
It's like Force Awakens. It's not like you put Han Solo dies in the trailer. That would have been like, well, what the fuck? What?
Yes, exactly. Don't question the Death Star blowing up thing, because 70s trailers got deep. They showed a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, I don't know about that one. But you're right about the Han Solo thing. The Gogeta being a cameo that no one expected, unless you were following those bits here and there.
And it's basically, it would have been the one big surprise for the film to show you. Like, that's going to be the end-all, be-all. And yeah, it's not like you saw Gogeta finishing off Broly in a blast or whatever. But like...
So, and here's the thing too, Tristan. Let's say it's not the end-all, be-all. In my opinion, that double blow with Goku and Vegeta in blue form, that might be the final. Like, you showed me two things that could be the finale. Like, the only thing that could shock me is if Broly just murders Goku. Like, that's the only thing that could shock me. Like, Broly takes Goku the way that Juggernaut took Deadpool in Deadpool 2.
Jesus Christ.
Or how Bane took Batman just over the knee. That's the only thing that could happen that would make me go, whoa, this is so...
Right.
And look, I get it. Goku's always going to win. No shit. Welcome to the show. If you're new here, how you doing, right? Like, welcome to Dragon Ball. But at the end of the day, that's like, I understand that constant. I get it. But why would you do this? It just doesn't make sense to me. Also, to do it this early.
In a movie that's basically a big fight scene, why are you going to give away the final big twist of the fight scene?
Yeah. Like, why would you give away all of... Not even just the final scene. Why would you give away all of the fights? Because here's the thing. For 4 and 5, I felt like they showed me stuff that I, for the most part, haven't seen in the first 3 trailers.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I can piece together a damn good... Not the whole movie, obviously. There wasn't an hour and a half. Most likely hour and a half given to these trailers. I get it. But, dude, I can piece together a pretty coherent movie. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, we got the stuff with Bardock, King Vegeta, and Broly and Paragus. Then we got Broly's fucking... we got Goku's space pod going to Earth, not Broly's. But still, we got Goku's space pod going to Earth. Then we ended up getting... the only thing we haven't really seen is Whis and Beerus, who I assume maybe they're the ones that kind of are tipped off to Broly coming to Earth. But we saw Frieza and his crew come down, so they're probably the ones that were tipped off. And they're coming to Earth to be like, by the way, you're all going to die. And not by me, interestingly enough. You would think, right? You would think. Like, that's what I can piece together. And then Frieza's going to get beaten up by Broly. And as I said last time when we talked about Trailer 3, toodles, and leave. And then Goku and Vegeta are going to have to work together to the point where they fuse. And either the fusion takes down Broly or their double move takes down Broly. I'm not saying it kills Broly necessarily.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to take down Broly. You're probably going to have, if Beerus was chilling out somewhere and didn't come out, he's probably going to come up and be like, alright, I'll seal him somewhere.
Right.
And then they're going to seal Broly away, if not kill him, which I don't feel like they'd kill him because usually canon doesn't go for murder that often.
Right, yeah.
So... that's the thing, man. Like, I can piece all this together. And then all the fights that we got. It's like, we know Vegeta's going to be, have a Super Saiyan God. We know that they're both going to go blue. We know... here's the thing, too, by the way. If it was just Gogeta, and that was it, that'd be interesting. They showed him going blue.
Yeah.
You literally can't wait for... like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, alright... can you just, like, even... can you show the end as well, where Goku's just eating some chicken and going, man... like, other than some comedy scenes, I feel like we've gotten the entire film.
Right.
And I hate to say this, dude, because I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I don't want to watch the movie now. I'm probably going to see it because you want to see it, and I've wanted to see it. But why... I'm sorry, I should clarify. Watch the movie in theaters.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, for me, like, I'm still gonna see the movie, but that's the thing, like, a movie like this, it's a little less story and a little more about the action, and when you give away so much of the action, you really are hurting it and taking away from it. Something like Star Wars, like, I heard about Han Solo dying too, but there's still an element of story there. I'm like, okay, I want to know how he dies. Like, I can still look at a film and be like, I need to know how this happens,
And I feel like whatever story changes that they gave, granted, it's a good way to give it away in the trailer so people can get used to it, like, the stuff that makes him seem like he's Superman. But that was given away in the trailer. So you know the differences now. Like, I'm sorry, I just feel as if I don't see a reason to go to see it in theaters. Because remember, Tristan, we're not going to your discount theater to be able to watch this. We're probably, even around your neck of the woods, we're probably going to have to pay like $13, $16 to go watch this.
Yeah.
Plus concessions.
Right.
That's money that could go to a bunch of other movies coming out around this time of the year. Deadpool 2 got a really fun trailer that we didn't get the chance to talk about. I actually don't know if you've seen it. The Deadpool Christmas trailer.
Yeah, I did.
Hilarious. We're not going to have the time to talk about it on the podcast, but it was hilarious. We also have Wreck-It Ralph that came out just last month, Wreck-It Ralph 2. And I'm sure there's some other movies as well that have come out, if I can think about them. Like, that would be interesting to see. That I couldn't see if I went to go see this film, that I've already gotten everything I need.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to, change your opinion on it, but, like, you can't deny that we've gotten so much, which you've been saying over the course of this story.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm still gonna see the movie, but
Yeah.
I'm still not happy with the way Toei's handled the advertising campaign with this.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna...
I mean, it's like two different, like, ways of going, like, trying to explain this, because, like, even, I mean, Moscow X did a video about it, too, and he talked about it, it's like, so you're either... like, afraid, like, oh, we need to keep people hyped. We need to throw more at them to keep them hyped. If you haven't done that in 3 trailers, there's something wrong with your film fundamentally.
And they have.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, it's like, oh, well, it's so popular and everybody loves it so much, it doesn't matter what we show, they'll go see it anyway. And it's like, well, that's a dangerous way to play this game. Anyway.
Because the returns could be minimal.
Right. They've shot themselves in the foot one way or the other.
Like, I'm not trying to shit on Toei personally, but there's a reason why, and granted, yes, it's hard because they have to promote their film in Japan while Funimation has to promote the film in the US of A. It's rough, right? But there's a reason why, and of course YouTube, like, if they had just blocked it to our region, granted, re-uploads could happen, but still, if they had blocked it, that also would have been nice. But the issue is that because it's a corporate synergy thing, that's also an issue as well, because they want to release Gogeta for Xenoverse 2 and then have, it tie into, and then Funimation, of course, like what? Funimation is gonna have radio silence.
Right, yeah.
That's another issue as well. Like, it's a coordinated ad campaign that is just such a detriment, because looking at the US side of things, you and I know that a lot of people who are fans of Dragon Ball Z now, yes, of course, it's the kids, don't get me wrong, but it's also the adults who've grown up on Dragon Ball Z, who don't have disposable income as much as you would think. You see what I mean? Like, what I'm trying to get at here is, if my income, I'm not saying it's the best now, but if it was even worse, and I have to sit there and think, what movie am I going to watch this month?
Right.
Why would Super Broly be on the list?
After all this.
Like, you have to think about, but again, it's not like it's Toei's job to think about this, but there's a reason why they defer to the licensor usually, and the licensor goes, okay, is this a good decision or is this not a good decision? And and Funimation just has to roll with the punches. If Toei's like, well, this is the decision that we're making, we're putting it on our YouTube channel, everyone's going to see it, and Bandai Namco are going to put that on their YouTube channel because it's going to tie in with Xenoverse 2, and I assume Gogeta will also be in Fighter Z if he isn't in it already.
Right.
You see what I mean, man? It's just really frustrating.
Yeah.
So... and again, I don't hate Toei. I love their work. I love what they've done. I just think that this was a huge blunder, and I'm not going to go for hyperbole. It's not the worst one ever, because there's nothing truly offensive in this.
Right,
But I do wonder if it's going to be seen as much as it could have been. And even if it is seen, if you do a poll, I bet you more people are going to be upset about it, but are going to go see it anyway, and that's not good for... Like, that's just not a good approach to a fandom. Because they could go, all right, I want to see this now, but next time I don't want to. Or some people could boycott it. Now, am I going to tell people to boycott it? Not necessarily. Again, I don't think this is a boycott-worthy offense,
Right, yeah.
But it still is a thing where I do have to ask, as we're wrapping this story up, to you guys out there, do you really want to see the movie now? If you do, that's awesome. Because, again, I still want to see it. I just don't really feel like I want to go to theaters to see it. And that's the whole point of Funimation releasing this out to every theater. That's the reason why Goku is in the parade, not just to promote him, himself, and also the show to kind of be a cultural icon and show that he finally is and that he has been. But the fact that they were promoting Dragon Ball Super Broly. So why would you do this? Like, it's just really rough. So tell me what you guys think down below. Do you still want to see this? Do you not want to see this? Do you think everything's going just fine? Do you think that, hey, maybe we're old fuddy-duddies and you knew about this for like months, right? But again, like Tristan said, it was always a theory until this exact moment. So, thank you all so much. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Would really love to hear about this because I really want to see what the entire community thinks, not just Tristan and I and a small group of our friends. So, tell me what you guys think down below.